3,000 years ago, Earth sent its first and only colony ship into the depths of space. The massive vessel, named Hope, carried 10,000 brave souls. Their mission? To find a new home for humanity among the stars. Little did they know that their journey would lead them to a planet on the outer edges of a vast galactic empire. The empire, made up of various alien species, saw the humans as primitive newcomers. They expected these strange creatures to perish quickly on the harsh world they now called home. The planet, which the colonists named New Eden, was anything but paradise. Its atmosphere was thin, its landscapes barren, and its wildlife hostile. The galactic overseers gave the humans a few basic tools and left them to their fate, certain they would not survive a decade, let alone become a threat. As the centuries passed, the empire forgot about the insignificant human colony. New Eden became nothing more than a footnote in their vast databases, a failed experiment in their eyes. But the empire had gravely underestimated the human spirit. The first years on New Eden were brutal. The colonists struggled against the planet's unforgiving environment. Many died from alien diseases, toxic plants, or encounters with dangerous creatures. The survivors huddled in their domed habitats, fighting each day just to stay alive. Among the colonists was Dr. Sarah Chen, a brilliant scientist who refused to give up hope. She worked tirelessly to adapt Earth crops to New Eden's soil and atmosphere. Her efforts slowly began to pay off. After decades of trial and error, fields of wheat-like grain spread across the valleys near the main colony. As food became more plentiful, the colonists could focus on other pressing issues. Engineers like Marcus Okonkwo developed new materials to withstand the planet's harsh storms and temperature swings. They built stronger, larger habitats that could house more people comfortably. Children born on New Eden grew up stronger, more resistant to the planet's challenges. Each generation adapted better to their new home. They learned to navigate the treacherous canyons, to predict the violent weather patterns, and to avoid the most dangerous predators. By the fifth generation, the colonists had established several thriving settlements across the planet's least hostile regions. They mined the mountains for precious metals and rare minerals. These resources fueled their growing industry and technology. One day, a young explorer named Zara Williams made a startling discovery. Deep within an ancient cave system, she found deposits of a strange, glowing crystal. The scientists quickly realized this material had incredible energy potential, far beyond anything they had ever seen. This discovery changed everything. With a new, powerful energy source, human innovation exploded. They built massive atmospheric processors to make the air more breathable. They created protective shields to guard against the worst storms. Slowly but surely, they were taming New Eden. As the centuries rolled by, the humans of New Eden never forgot their origins. They passed down stories of Earth, keeping alive the dream of one day reconnecting with their ancestral home. They also remembered the aliens who had abandoned them, using that memory as motivation to grow stronger. In secret laboratories, hidden from the prying eyes of any potential alien observers, the brightest minds of New Eden worked on their most ambitious project yet, faster than light travel. They were determined to rejoin the galactic community, not as primitive outcasts, but as equals. Now, 3,000 years after they were left to die on a hostile world, humanity was ready to unveil its greatest achievement. In a hidden shipyard beneath New Eden's largest moon, the first human-built starship was nearing completion. Its sleek design and advanced technology would soon shock a complacent galactic empire. The humans of New Eden had not just survived, they had thrived. And they were about to remind the galaxy of their existence in a way no one could have ever imagined. As the gleaming starship rose from its lunar berth, ready for its maiden voyage, a new chapter in human history was about to begin. The forgotten children of Earth were stepping onto the galactic stage, and nothing would ever be the same again. As the first human-built starship soared through the skies of New Eden, excitement rippled through the planet's population. This moment marked the beginning of a new era for humanity, one that would soon shake the foundations of the Galactic Empire. The starship, named Phoenix, was a marvel of engineering. Its sleek, silver hull gleamed in the light of New Eden's twin suns. The ship's design was unlike anything seen in the known galaxy, a testament to human ingenuity and the unique path of technological development on their isolated world. At the helm of the Phoenix stood Captain Elena Rodriguez, a descendant of the original colonists. Her dark eyes sparkled with determination as she guided the ship out of the planet's atmosphere. Beside her, Chief Engineer Tamir Kumar monitored the ship's systems, his fingers dancing across holographic displays. "All systems are green, Captain," Tamir reported, his voice filled with pride. "The quantum drive is stable and ready for our first jump." Elena nodded, her heart racing with anticipation. "Prepare for light speed, Mr. Kumar. Let's see what this ship can do." With a burst of energy, the Phoenix vanished from New Eden's orbit, leaving behind a trail of shimmering particles. Moments later, it reappeared light years away, having traveled faster than any human-made object in history. Back on New Eden, the successful test flight was cause for celebration. In town squares and community halls across the planet, people gathered to watch broadcasts of the Phoenix's journey. Children gazed at the stars with newfound wonder, dreaming of the adventures that awaited them in space. But the Phoenix was just the beginning. In laboratories and research centers around New Eden, scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to push the boundaries of human knowledge even further. Dr. Amelia Chung, head of the planet's largest research facility, led a team developing advanced AI systems. These artificial intelligences were designed to manage complex ship functions, allowing smaller crews to operate vessels far larger than the Phoenix. In another lab, physicist Dr. Quamosi and his team made breakthroughs in shield technology. Their innovations would allow ships to withstand the intense pressures of faster-than-light travel and protect against potential weapons fire. As months passed, a fleet of starships began to take shape in orbital shipyards. Each vessel incorporated new technologies, improving on the original Phoenix design. The humans of New Eden were preparing not just to explore, but to defend themselves if necessary. They hadn't forgotten the alien empire that had abandoned them millennia ago. While the people of New Eden hoped for peaceful contact, they were determined never to be at the mercy of others again. Meanwhile, on the surface of New Eden, society was transforming. The promise of space exploration brought new energy to every aspect of life. Schools revamped their curricula, focusing on subjects that would prepare the next generation for life among the stars. Cities expanded upward, with towering spires reaching into the sky. Maglev trains crisscrossed the planet, connecting distant settlements in hours. The once harsh world had been tamed by human perseverance and ingenuity. Yet, even as they looked to the stars, the people of New Eden never lost touch with their roots. They maintained vast nature preserves, protecting the alien flora and fauna that had once threatened their survival. These areas served as reminders of their long struggle and the importance of living in harmony with their adopted world. In orbit above New Eden, construction began on a massive space station. This would serve as a jumping-off point for their new fleet, a symbol of humanity's ambitions visible from the planet's surface. As the day of the first official mission beyond their star system approached, a sense of nervous excitement filled the air. Thousands of candidates had applied to join the crew of the exploration vessels. Those chosen would be the first humans in millennia to encounter alien life. Captain Rodriguez, now admiral of the fledgling fleet, addressed the chosen crews. "You carry with you the hopes and dreams of our people," she said, her voice strong and clear. "Remember our history, but look to the future. We go into the galaxy not as conquerors, but as explorers and potential friends. Yet we must also be prepared to defend ourselves and our home." As the speech ended, cheers erupted from the assembled crews. They were ready to take humanity's next giant leap. In a matter of days, the first ships would launch, carrying the indomitable spirit of New Eden to the stars. The forgotten colony was about to remind the galaxy of humanity's existence, armed with technology that would astound those who had once dismissed them. The stage was set for an encounter that would change the course of galactic history forever. The day of humanity's return to the galactic stage dawned with a mix of excitement and tension on New Eden. The exploration fleet, led by the flagship Horizon, prepared to make its first jump into Empire-controlled space. Admiral Elena Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the Horizon, her experienced eyes scanning the crew. Each member represented the best of New Eden, brilliant, adaptable, and determined. As the ship's AI announced final preparations, Elena took a deep breath. "All ships report ready, Admiral," said her first officer, Commander Jaxley. Elena nodded. "Then let's make history. Initiate jump sequence." In a flash of dazzling light, the human fleet vanished from New Eden's system. Moments later, they reappeared at the edge of a bustling trade route in the Galactic Empire. Alarms blared across the Imperial border station, Outpost Zeta 9. Senior Officer Krelax, a veteran of the Xanthar species, rushed to the control room. His 4 eyes widened in shock at the sight on the main screen. "By the core worlds," he gasped. "What are those ships?" The human vessels hung in space, their sleek designs unlike anything in the Imperial database. Their sudden appearance had scattered the usual traffic of merchant ships and Imperial patrols. On the horizon, Elena watched as confusion spread through the alien fleet. "Open a channel to the largest ship," she ordered. "Let's introduce ourselves." Commander Lee worked the communications array. "Channel open, Admiral." Elena straightened her uniform and faced the view screen. "This is Admiral Elena Rodriguez of the New Eden Exploration Fleet. We come in peace and seek diplomatic contact with the Galactic Empire." On Outpost Zeta 9, Krelax stared at the human woman on his screen. Her appearance triggered a long-forgotten memory from his academy days. A footnote about a primitive species once left on a harsh world. "Impossible," he muttered. Then, gathering his wits, he responded, "This is Senior Officer Krelax of the Galactic Empire. Your presence here is unexpected. Please identify your species and point of origin." Elena smiled. "We are humans, originally from Earth, but we call New Eden our home now. I believe your empire may have some record of us from about 3,000 years ago." Krelax's antennae twitched in disbelief. Could these advanced ships really belong to those abandoned primitives? He needed to alert his superiors immediately. "Please hold your position," he told Elena. "I must consult with Imperial Command." As Krelax rushed to send urgent messages up the chain of command, word of the humans' arrival spread like wildfire through nearby systems. Merchant ships transmitted grainy images of the sleek vessels. Imperial news networks buzzed with speculation. On a luxury cruise liner passing through the sector, a galactic senator from the core worlds watched the unfolding scene with keen interest. Senator Zira Voss of the Luminar species saw an opportunity in this unexpected event. Back on the horizon, Elena and her crew waited patiently. They had prepared for this moment for generations, and a few more hours wouldn't hurt. "Admiral," called out the ship's sensor officer, "we're detecting a lot of communication chatter and ship movement in nearby systems. Word of our arrival is spreading fast." Elena nodded. "Good. Let them come. We have nothing to hide and much to share." As the hours passed, more Imperial ships arrived. Sleek warships took up defensive positions, while diplomatic vessels approached cautiously. The human fleet remained calm, their advanced shields and weapons powered down to appear non-threatening. Finally, an ornate ship decorated with Imperial symbols approached. On its bridge stood High Chancellor Dex Garuda, one of the most powerful figures in the Galactic Empire. Garuda, a tall, avian-like being, studied the human ships with a mixture of curiosity and concern. In all his centuries of service, he had never encountered a situation quite like this. "Open a channel to the human flagship," he ordered. As Elena's face appeared on his screen, Garuda spoke with carefully measured words. "I am High Chancellor Dex Garuda of the Galactic Empire. On behalf of our citizens, I extend cautious greetings. Your Evolution has taken us by surprise. We have much to discuss. Elena met the alien leader's gaze steadily. Indeed we do, High Chancellor. My people have waited 3,000 years for this moment. We look forward to peaceful and productive talks. As the two leaders began their historic conversation, news of humanity's return raced across the empire at light speed. In the halls of power and the homes of trillions of beings, one question echoed. How would the return of humanity reshape the galaxy? The stage was set for negotiations that would determine the course of galactic history. The forgotten children of Earth had announced their presence, and the Empire would never be the same again. The news of humanity's return spread through the galactic empire like a shockwave. On the imperial capital world of Zentra Prime, the Grand Council chamber buzzed with heated debate. Representatives from 1,000 worlds argued about how to handle this unexpected development. High Chancellor Dex Garuda stood at the center of the storm. His feathers ruffled as he called for order. Esteemed colleagues, he said, his voice carrying across the vast hall, we must approach this situation with caution and wisdom. But many council members were far from calm. Senator Crix of the warrior Varn species pounded his fist on his desk. These humans are a threat, he shouted. How do we know they don't seek revenge for our ancestors abandoning them? From another corner, Senator Zira Voss of the Luminar spoke up. Her crystalline form sparkled as she moved. The humans have shown no hostility, she argued. Their technology could benefit us all. We should welcome them as potential allies. The debate raged on, with factions quickly forming. Some saw the humans as a dangerous unknown, others as an opportunity for new alliances and trade. A few even suggested that humanity's rapid advancement might be a sign of illegal AI use or forbidden tech from the ancient precursor races. Meanwhile, on worlds across the Empire, the public reaction was just as divided. On the industrial planet Forge, factory workers worried about human technology making their jobs obsolete. On the academic world of Scaleria, scientists and researchers were thrilled at the prospect of exchanging knowledge with this newly advanced species. Back in the region where the human fleet had first appeared, things were tense. Imperial ships maintained a defensive formation around the human vessels. Despite Admiral Elena Rodriguez's assurances of peaceful intentions, many Imperial captains kept their weapons primed, just in case. On board the flagship Horizon, Elena and her team worked tirelessly. They prepared presentations on human history and technology, hoping to ease the Empire's fears. But they also stayed alert, knowing that not everyone would welcome their return. As days passed, more information about the humans began to circulate. Leaked images of their advanced ships caused a stir. Rumors spread about their incredible medical technology that had allowed them to adapt to their harsh homeworld. Some even claimed that humans had developed limited telepathic abilities, though this was far from the truth. In the shadows, not everyone waited for official decisions. On the criminal haven of Nexus Station, a group of opportunistic pirates saw a chance for a big score. Their leader, the cybernetically enhanced Krathel, began planning a raid on the human fleet. He dreamed of the riches he could gain from stealing their advanced tech. Back on Zentra Prime, the political maneuvering intensified. Senator Zira Voss met secretly with representatives from the influential Merchants Guild. Think of the profits, she told them, her crystalline eyes gleaming. Human goods could open up entirely new markets. The Merchants Guild, always keen on new opportunities, agreed to support a pro-human stance. Their lobbyists began working the Grand Council, whispering about the economic benefits of cooperation. But the opposition wasn't sitting idle. Senator Crix gathered allies among the more militant species. In quiet corners of the capital, they discussed worst-case scenarios and military options. Some even suggested a preemptive strike against the human fleet, arguing it was better to be safe than sorry. As the debate raged on, High Chancellor Garuda faced a difficult decision. The Empire's response would shape galactic politics for centuries to come. He spent long hours in his private chambers, consulting with advisors and studying reports on human capabilities. Finally, after a week of intense discussions, Garuda called for a special session of the Grand Council. The great hall fell silent as he took the podium, all eyes fixed on their leader. Members of the council, Garuda began, his voice solemn. We stand at a crossroads of history. The return of humanity presents both challenges and opportunities. After careful consideration, I propose. But before he could finish, the chamber's emergency comm system crackled to life. A breathless aide's voice filled the room. Chancellor, we're receiving reports of an attack on the human fleet. Unidentified ships have opened fire. Gasps and shouts erupted throughout the council chamber. In an instant, the political landscape shifted dramatically. The Empire's response to humanity's return was no longer a matter for debate. It had become a crisis demanding immediate action. As Garuda rushed to get more information, one thing was clear. The next few hours would determine the course of human-imperial relations for generations to come. The galaxy held its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. The attack on the human fleet sent shockwaves through the galaxy. As the dust settled, it became clear that the aggressors were not Imperial forces, but a group of pirates led by the notorious Krathul. The humans had successfully defended themselves, destroying several pirate ships and capturing Krathul himself. This turn of events changed everything. Many in the Empire who had feared the humans now marveled at their restraint. The humans had the power to obliterate the pirate fleet, but chose to minimize casualties and take prisoners instead. High Chancellor Dex Garuda saw an opportunity. He quickly organized an emergency meeting between Imperial leaders and the human delegation. The Grand Meeting Hall on the neutral space station Unity was chosen as the venue. Admiral Elena Rodriguez led the human team. As she entered the hall, all eyes turned to her. Many alien species were seeing the human in person for the first time. Elena stood tall, her uniform crisp, her expression confident but open. Chancellor Garuda opened the proceedings. We are gathered here to begin a new chapter in galactic history, he said, his avian features solemn. The humans have demonstrated both their technological prowess and their commitment to peace. Let us approach these talks with open minds and hopeful hearts. Elena stepped forward. Thank you, Chancellor, she said, her voice carrying across the hall. We come seeking friendship, not domination. Earth may be lost to us, but on New Eden, we have built a society that values innovation, cooperation, and respect for all life forms. The negotiations began in earnest. For days, representatives from both sides discussed a wide range of topics. The humans shared stories of their struggle on New Eden and their technological breakthroughs. Imperial scientists were particularly interested in the humans' advanced AI systems and their unique approach to quantum physics. In return, the Empire offered access to its vast trade networks and shared knowledge about the thousands of species that made up galactic society. Both sides approached the talks cautiously, aware of the huge impact their decisions would have. One of the most heated debates centered around military cooperation. Senator Crix, still suspicious of human intentions, pushed for restrictions on human fleet movements. We cannot allow an unknown power to roam freely through Imperial space, he argued. Elena countered with a proposal for joint peacekeeping missions. Let us work together to make the galaxy safer for all, she suggested. Our ships could partner with Imperial vessels to patrol trade routes and respond to distress calls. As the talks progressed, personal connections began to form. Elena found an unexpected ally in Senator Zira Voss. The crystalline luminar was fascinated by human culture and saw great potential in closer ties. Your species' ability to adapt and innovate is remarkable, Zira told Elena during a break in negotiations. I believe we have much to learn from each other. Not everyone was pleased with the growing warmth between humans and the Empire. In the shadows, those who had supported Krathul's failed attack plotted their next move. They saw humanity as a threat to their power and profit. On New Eden, the population waited anxiously for news. Regular updates from Elena's team were met with a mix of excitement and nervousness. The people who had spent generations isolated on their harsh world now faced the prospect of joining a vast, complex galactic society. As the negotiations entered their final phase, both sides prepared to make significant commitments. The humans offered to share their advanced medical techniques, which could revolutionize healthcare across the empire. In exchange, they sought guarantees of their autonomy and the right to continue expanding their presence in space. Chancellor Garuda, seeing the potential benefits of an alliance, prepared to offer humanity associate status within the empire. This would grant them protection and trading rights while allowing them to maintain their independence. On the final day of talks, Alina and Garuda met privately to hammer out the last details. The weight of history rested on their shoulders as they worked to bridge the gap between their civilizations. "Your people have accomplished something unprecedented," Garuda said, his tone respectful. "In just 3,000 years, you've gone from abandoned colonists to a spacefaring power. The Empire underestimated humanity once. We will not make that mistake again." Alina nodded, her expression serious. "We've come a long way, but we know we still have much to learn. We hope this agreement will mark the beginning of a long and fruitful relationship between our peoples." As they shook hands, a human custom that had quickly caught on in diplomatic circles, both leaders knew that the real challenges were just beginning. Integrating humanity into the complex web of galactic politics would not be easy, but for the first time in millennia, the future looked bright for cooperation between Earth's children and the stars. The stage was set for the formal signing ceremony. The galaxy waited with bated breath to see what this new era would bring. The formal signing ceremony between humanity and the Galactic Empire should have been a moment of triumph. Instead, it became the spark that ignited a galaxy-wide crisis. As High Chancellor Dex Garuda and Admiral Lilina Rodriguez prepared to sign the historic agreement, chaos erupted. A group of heavily armed militants stormed the ceremony hall on Unity Station. They called themselves the Purity Front and declared their mission to protect the galaxy from human corruption. In the ensuing firefight, quick action by human and Imperial security forces prevented any casualties among the diplomats. Alina's combat training kicked in as she helped evacuate key officials. Chancellor Garuda was impressed by her bravery under fire. The attack was repelled, but the damage was done. Across the Empire, anti-human sentiment flared up. The Purity Front's message spread rapidly, playing on fears of human technological superiority and cultural influence. On the industrial world of Forge, riots broke out as workers, stirred up by Purity Front propaganda, attacked businesses adopting human tech. The planet's governor called for Imperial peacekeepers to restore order. Meanwhile, on New Eden, the human population watched events unfold with growing alarm. Defense Minister Kai Chen ordered the planetary shield grid to full power and placed the Hone fleet on high alert. "We came in peace," he told his staff, "but we'll defend our home if we must." Back in Imperial space, Alina found herself in a series of emergency meetings with Imperial leaders. Senator Crix, seeing an opportunity, pushed for harsh restrictions on human movements. "We must contain this threat before it spreads further," he argued. But Senator Zira Voss countered forcefully. "The humans are victims here, not aggressors," she said. "Punishing them for the actions of extremists will only breed more conflict." As the debate raged, troubling reports began to come in from across the galaxy. Human trade ships were being denied entry at Imperial ports. There were scattered accounts of human travelers facing harassment or worse. The situation reached a boiling point when a human colony ship, unaware of recent events, entered the Vega system seeking to establish a new outpost. Local defense forces, acting on false information, opened fire without warning. The human ship's advanced shields held, preventing casualties, but the diplomatic damage was severe. Footage of the unprovoked attack spread quickly, enraging the population of New Eden. Admiral Rodriguez found herself walking the diplomatic tightrope. She needed to show strength to deter further aggression, while avoiding actions that could lead to all-out war. In a tense call with Minister Chen, she said, "Prepare our defenses, but do not launch any preemptive strikes. We can't afford to be seen as the aggressors. Chancellor Garuda faced pressure from multiple sides. Hardliners in the Imperial military pushed for a show of force to put the humans in their place. Merchant guilds, seeing their profits threatened by the growing crisis, demanded a quick resolution. In a bold move, Garuda invited Alina to address the Grand Council directly. As she stood before the assembled representatives of 1,000 worlds, Alina felt the weight of her entire species on her shoulders. Distinguished members of the council, she began, her voice steady. Humanity came here seeking friendship, not conflict. We faced extinction before and survived. We don't want war, but make no mistake, we will defend ourselves if attacked. She paused, looking around the chamber, but that's not why I'm here. I'm here to extend a hand of friendship once again. Let us work together to root out the real enemies, those who would drive us apart with fear and violence. Her words had an impact, but the crisis was far from over. Even as Alina spoke, Purity Front cells were planning their next moves. On distant worlds, opportunistic warlords saw a chance to carve out their own empires in the chaos. The human fleet, still vastly outnumbered by Imperial forces, began to adopt a defensive posture. They used their advanced sensors to create an early warning network, ready to respond to any threat. Chancellor Garuda, moved by Alina's speech and concerned about the growing instability, made a fateful decision. He proposed a joint human-imperial task force to hunt down the leaders of the Purity Front and protect vulnerable colonies. As preparations for this unprecedented cooperation got underway, both sides knew they were entering uncharted territory. The next few weeks would determine whether humanity and the Empire would forge a lasting alliance or descend into a war that could tear the galaxy apart. On New Eden, in Imperial palaces, and on countless worlds in between, people of all species held their breath. The galaxy stood on the brink of either a new golden age or a conflict unlike any in living memory. The stage was set for a confrontation that would reshape the fate of entire civilizations. The Joint Human Imperial Task Force, dubbed Operation Starbridge, launched into action with unprecedented speed. Human ships, with their advanced stealth technology, worked alongside Imperial cruisers to track down Purity Front cells across the galaxy. Admiral Alina Rodriguez and Imperial Commander Thax, a stoic member of the reptilian saurian species, led the operation from the flagship Unity, a newly christened vessel combining the best of human and Imperial technology. Their first major victory came on the mining world of Karis, a Purity Front stronghold, hidden deep in sprawling cave systems, was uncovered thanks to human sensor tech. Imperial shock troops, supported by human combat drones, stormed the base. The operation's success sent a powerful message. Together, humans and the Empire were a force to be reckoned with. As news of Starbridge's victories spread, public opinion began to shift. On countless worlds, beings of all species watched in awe as human and Imperial forces worked in perfect harmony. The propaganda of fear spread by the Purity Front began to lose its grip. But the extremists wouldn't go down without a fight. In a desperate move, they launched a surprise attack on New Eden itself, a stolen Imperial dreadnought, backed by a ragtag fleet of mercenary ships, dropped out of hyperspace near the human homeworld. For a moment, it seemed like the Purity Front might succeed in striking the devastating blow. But they had underestimated humanity's preparedness. New Eden's planetary shield easily deflected the initial barrage. Then, the planet's defense grid sprang to life. Thousands of automated defense satellites, hidden in orbit, swarmed the attacking fleet. At the same time, squadrons of human fighters launched from hidden bases on New Eden's moons. The battle was short but fierce. When the Starbridge task force arrived, expecting a long siege, they found only debris and captured Purity Front ships. Humanity had defended itself without firing a single planet-based weapon. This demonstration of both power and restraint changed everything. Across the Empire, the last pockets of anti-human sentiment crumbled. Even Senator Crix, once a fierce opponent, had to admit he'd been wrong about humanity's intentions. In the aftermath of the battle, Chancellor Garuda called for an emergency session of the Grand Council. This time, when Alina stood to address the assembly, she was met with thunderous applause. "Today, we have proven that we are stronger together," Alina said, her voice filled with emotion. "The stars themselves bear witness to what we can achieve when we set aside fear and embrace cooperation." Chancellor Garuda, his feathers gleaming under the council chamber lights, stood beside her. "The time has come," he announced, "for a new galactic order, one where humans stand as full and equal members of our interstellar community." The proclamation sent shockwaves through the galaxy. For the first time in its long history, the Galactic Empire was admitting a new member as an equal, not a subject race. The human delegation, led by Alina, worked tirelessly with Imperial lawmakers to draft a new galactic constitution. Key points of the agreement included: 1. Earth's children would have full voting rights in the Grand Council. 2. Human technology would be shared, but key defense innovations would remain under joint human-imperial control. 3. A new galactic academy would be established on New Eden, promoting the exchange of knowledge between all species. 4. Joint human-imperial fleets would serve as peacekeepers across the galaxy. As news of the agreement spread, celebrations erupted on countless worlds. On New Eden, humans danced in the streets, their eyes turned to skies, now filled with possibility instead of threat. On Zenfer Prime, the imperial capital, citizens of 1,000 species raised their voices in a unified cheer. Of course, challenges remained. Integrating such different cultures and technologies would not be easy. Some traditionalists grumbled about change coming too fast. But for the first time in living memory, there was a sense of true optimism about the galaxy's future. 1 year after the failed attack on New Eden, a grand ceremony was held to mark the new era. As Alina watched ships from across the galaxy descend on her homeworld, she couldn't help but marvel at how far they'd come. A small child, a native of New Eden who had never known the isolation of the past, tugged at her sleeve. "Admiral," the young girl asked, her eyes wide with wonder, "what's next? Where do we go from here?" Alina smiled, looking up at the star-filled sky. "Where do we go?" she echoed. "My dear, we go everywhere. The entire universe awaits us, and this is just the beginning." As night fell on New Eden, the glow of 1,000 ships lit up the sky, a testament to the new bonds forged between humanity and the greater galactic community. The children of Earth, once forgotten, had not only survived, they had thrived, and in doing so, reshaped the very fabric of galactic society. The future, bright with promise, beckoned to all.